welcome to our podcast where we talk about all things relating to work culture and potential trends in the workplace.
Today we have a skin-deep topic. We're going to be discussing body modifications in the workplace. This includes tattoos, piercings, hair color, and cosmetic surgery. We're here to ask why some things are accepted and others are still portrayed negatively.
And does it really matter if you're in a corporate blue-collar position versus a blue-collar profession? We're trying to dive into the perceptions and policies of personal expression. So starting our discussion today is, what are body modifications?
Well, body modifications are really anything that changes your physical appearance. This can include things such as tattoos, piercings, cosmetic work, such as Botox, fillers, and many other surgical things. But it also includes things like dyed hair and more simple things. Nowadays, a lot of people have some sort of body modification. For example, millennials have a very high rate of body modifications, or more specifically tattoos. About 41% of them have a tattoo nowadays. What do you know about tattoos and how they're portrayed, or how many there are in the U.S. workforce today?
Well, for any body modifications, I know that I actually have dyed my hair quite a few times. I know I've gone from colors maybe blue, green. I know that I want to get some piercings too, so that's usually things I think about. I do love tattoos, which brings up this whole discussion because sometimes in the workplace, tattoos are really discriminated against, whether you're in customer service or sometimes, and it's usually just the opinion of others. And if we want to go talk about stats, sometimes you find out that maybe there's sometimes in some work conditions it really depends on where you work. So in this statistic here, only 12% of people with tattoos have them visible in the workplace. Some jobs usually have these work conditions in which, hey, no tattoos, you must keep them covered or anything like that. Or if you have excessive piercings, say if you had 7 on one ear, usually they only allow you to have one pair of jewelry, and it's kind of just something we need to start talking about.
Wow, you seem pretty knowledgeable in tattoos in the workplace. Could you tell me maybe some statistics that there are on tattoo acceptance in the workplace?
Well, as it was already stated, 41% of millennials have tattoos, while about 40% of the U.S. workforce has tattoos. In some areas, it is reported that women are fine. Women are more okay and accepting of coworkers and tattoos and being able to show that, while there's a lot of outright discrimination against tattoos. But over the years, that has drastically changed, thankfully, due to the more acceptance of being able to have these body modifications. And so it's been reported that only 4% of people actually do make discriminations more outwardly. It is more likely that our new generation will have more body modifications than the older, as it's becoming more relevant in a sense. It's a lot of numbers, and it really, I think, just depends on what kind of job you are. So let's go talk about jobs.
Yeah, so I think that we should make a clear differentiation and separate jobs into two different categories. First, we have blue-collar jobs, and then we have white-collar jobs. These categories can really be very different in terms of what they allow and what they let slide in terms of body modifications. We can see from the research that blue-collar jobs are typically more accepting of tattoos and body modifications in contrast to white-collar jobs. This can often be seen as blue-collar jobs have less customer service and less interactions with people, and therefore the managers are more forgiving and accepting of tattoos and other body modifications.
In addition, I think it's just like a matter of workplace perception, especially since I know that I've been told that since I probably look a little younger and whatever, and if I get a tattoo or have like multiple piercings, it might seem like I'm not really into the job or I don't really care, I guess, in a matter of sense. So I think that's probably the perception of any older person, or in case anyone's perception that like tattoos, piercings, depending on how they look, is more of like rebellion teen stuff, I guess. I know a lot of people have seen them that way. My grandma says a lot of that to me.
That brings us to our last point about figuring out ethical concerns and seeing the future of tattoos and body modifications in the workplace. Right now, there's a lot of protections for people set in place so that employers can't discriminate against tattoos and body modifications. However, there are some exceptions to this. For example, people can't have tattoos or body modifications that are offensive or inappropriate. On the bright side, we can see that the stigma is fading and more employers are okay with people with tattoos and body modifications.
At the end of the day, we all just want to be seen for what work we actually do and not how we decorate our bodies or present ourselves. And hopefully we all present ourselves in a professional manner if we are trying to get jobs.
I agree with that. And at the end of it,